Hello, I'm Greg Williams. I'm the senior pastor at Grace Lutheran in Hendersonville, North Carolina. On behalf of my colleagues, Pastor Ken and Pastor Alfredo, I wanted to share a little bit about our Advent journey and Advent plans and Christmas plans here at Grace. We've been laboring under the shadow, if you will, of the COVID virus since March. Grace has been richly blessed by the efforts and skills and gifts and faithfulness of so many to be able to come to you online each Sunday, live streaming. The reality right now of the situation is that the spread of the virus, its predominance in the area, necessitates online worship only for your safety because we care about everyone's health and well-being. It's especially difficult during this time of Advent and Christmas season when we anticipate gathering with friends and neighbors, family from near and far to celebrate and to prepare together to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate the inauguration of a new age that happened in the birth of the Christ child. The moment in history when God acted out of love for humanity in a totally different way, in a new way. For centuries, you remember, God had spoken through the prophets to call God's people back to faithfulness, to call His people back to life in relationship with God. It lasted for a while, but didn't persist. And finally, God acted decisively and powerfully by choosing out of love for all of humanity to limit God's divine nature within the flesh and bones of Jesus, whose birth from Mary to Mary inaugurated this powerful act of love and redemption that culminated on the other side of the empty tomb at Easter. The reality is that with the coronavirus persistently circulating and the severe limitations placed on gathering in large groups safely, large groups such as worship, we probably feel like we're stuck in darkness as deep as that of Jesus growing in Mary's womb. Unlike Mary, who knows that pregnancy only lasts for a specified season, we don't know when we will emerge from this darkness, this season of COVID, into new life. But we are confident that this season of COVID will end. We are confident that God is at work with researchers and public health officials and medical personnel to bring hope and healing again to humanity, to end this time of pandemic. We are confident that God travels with us along this journey through this time. We are confident that again in the not too distant future, we don't know when yet, but not too distant, that we will again be able to gather together in the same sacred space, to lift our hearts and our voices to God in praise to God who did something wonderful and transformative for the whole creation in the birth of Jesus, and who is doing something new and wonderful within us even now. Even now, God's at work doing something so that we can burst forth into renewed and revitalized life and ministry as the people of God on the other side of the pandemic time. Until that time, the ministry team at Grace, staff and lay leaders, continue to labor faithfully and diligently to prepare spiritually refreshing way stations, if you will, along our journey toward Christmas and beyond. You'll see all of these opportunities for worship and prayer and song, for spiritual nourishment, publicized and accessible through our Grace Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, as well as listed on the website and in weekly emails. So please, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our weekly email to keep up with everything. I want to take a few minutes to just go through the list of opportunities to feed your faith. Ones that are offered, some live streams, some are recorded, but they're all available as recorded versions for your convenience whenever your devotional spiritual time might be. We began on December 1st with a Blue Christmas service that was posted at 5 p.m. that day, because this isn't the most joyous season. Some of us have lost loved ones. Others worry about the health of loved ones right now. And we all grieve the ability to gather in person for Advent and Christmas. And then there will be opportunities for Messianic Wailing Wall to stop by Grace and the front entrance and post prayers and laments so that your faith community can share in lifting those up for you. There'll be people out there to pray with you, prayer shawls available, I think. So join us, stop by. We offer Holden evening prayer twice during Advent, on December 2nd and December 16th at 6 p.m. The choir has prepared the beautiful Holden evening prayer liturgy, and Pastor Ken and I each have a turn offering a homily on the Old Testament prophet Isaiah, reminding us of God's promise of Messiah. On December 9th, our Spanish-speaking members will lead us in a traditional event, Posada, reenacting, remembering how Mary and Joseph had to search place to place to find a place that was open to take them in for the birth of Jesus. Maybe that's something we identify with even more this year, as we feel a little bit lost without being able to gather in those familiar places with familiar faces and to welcome new faces. Posada, December 9th at 6 p.m. We'll be able to gather sort of in person outside on December 20th at 2:30. Christine Smith and Kevin Filson will lead us in a parking lot carol sing-along. So it's a chance to hear the singing of others live and in person, and to share in singing those carols that bring such comfort to us this time of year. On Christmas Eve at 10 o'clock, we'll offer our bilingual family Christmas Eve service with lessons that read, that tell the nativity story, familiar carols led by the band. And that concludes with the opportunity for drive-up communion for those of you that are local to Grace. So please come by and be gathered in the body, united with that sacrament of Jesus' body and blood. On Christmas Eve, our more traditional service led by the choir, Burton and his musicians, is at 6 p.m. that day. It'll conclude with singing Silent Night and lighting candles. And we're going to be making candles available for you to pick up here at Grace beginning December 6th with drive-up communion and other opportunities to stop by and pick a candle up, so that as the choir leads us in singing Silent Night and we dim the lights and light the candles to remind us of the new hope that the world has, that we have in the birth of Christ, you too can light a candle with yourself and others that may have gathered in your sacred space on Christmas Eve. And then that service will conclude with drive-up communion as well. You can drive up through the luminaries that will illuminate the drive and see the Christmas tree and the creche and the windows of the building. Christmas Day we'll have worship at 10 a.m., carols and a message from Pastor Ken. The Sunday after Christmas, it's still the Christmas season, remember, 12 days of Christmas. So on December 27th, worship will be a service of lessons and carols. So we get to sing those familiar carols one more time as the lessons remind us of God's love for us revealed in Christ. So I hope that you'll find time to join us, to invite Grace into your homes, into your family gatherings, in your sacred spaces. that we can remember God's faithfulness to us and the faithfulness revealed especially in the birth of Christ at Christmas and the hope that we have for life, resurrection, and redemption. Look forward to having you with us. God be with you.